It is Monday, March 4th. Welcome to Damon Bruce Plus. We're brought to you by Ike Sandwiches, and it is just fantastic to have you here. Thanks so much for stopping on by. Like and subscribe. We got a bit to get into today. Not too much time together, though, because I've signed up to go read to my 5-year-old's kindergarten class. I am putting in the time today as a good dad, so hopefully you can appreciate that. I certainly appreciate you being here. You got a lot of options out there in the big world of content creation. So thanks for stopping on by. Let's just hop right into the fact that I was surprised that the Deebo trade went down this weekend. I mean, I bet Larry Krueger a stake on this on Friday that it wasn't going to happen, and it happened. I'm surprised. I think this guy is a depressed asset. I did handicap it correctly from I think a 5th rounder would be the peak of return that they could get for Deebo, and indeed they got a 5th rounder, a late one because it's from the Commanders. And I also said that Deebo wouldn't go anywhere that doesn't have a prior relationship, which meant D'Amico Ryans in the Houston Texans or Adam Peters in the Commanders really felt like the two landing spots. So we got a landing spot right, we got the compensation right, but I honestly didn't think it was going to happen. Like, I really thought that the 49ers were going to be pretty damn interested in a walk year from Deebo Samuel. I was kind of interested in a walk year from Deebo Samuel, but the money that was committed, the upfront bonuses, math has changed around the NFL. And one of the things that we need to just walk away from when it comes time to, should we care about that? Should we not care about that? Again, it is your job as a good sports fan to worry about your team, how it performs on the field, position players, and that should be about it. Like, you shouldn't also be trying to keep track of a team's salary cap number, dead cap number, liquidity, money in, money out. The 49ers have the second most money in terms of cash paid to roster in the NFL right now, which is why the 49ers are saying, all right, we need to reel some of this money back in, which is why they were happy to get out from Deebo's guaranteed bonuses, which is why, as we look around football, one of the things that you have to care less about, because again, why should you care about something if these NFL teams don't really care about it? The dead cap number. Dead cap numbers used to be so big and scary that you would walk away from the transaction based on that dead cap number alone. Now you got teams carrying exorbitant dead cap numbers and still going to the playoffs. Look at the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos just walked away from a huge Russell Wilson contract, leaving them with more dead cap space than I think any team has ever carried. And they were cool with it. They went to the playoffs. By the way, this has all helped an awful lot when you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, which obviously Brock Purdy is going to be coming off of here for an exorbitant price, which is going to mean more money out. I mean, Brock is going to have over $100 million guaranteed. That means that money's got to go into escrow. That means the Yorks are saying, all right, pinch a penny today to spend a buck tomorrow. Don't worry about dead cap numbers anymore with your football team. Just don't do it. Don't worry about it. They're not worried about it. You shouldn't worry about it. But I did think that Deebo in a walk year is something that I wanted the Niners to be a part of, because I thought you were going to get his one last good bite at the apple out of him. Also, just looking at the situation that you're in, Brandon Aiyuk won't be in the picture frame. And we'll get to the fact that he might be totally out of the picture here in just a minute. But Brandon Aiyuk's not going to come into frame until, late November, December at best, coming off of a week 7 ACL tear. So I just thought that they were going to find a path back to Deebo, that there was going to be a cooling down of the Cold War between Team Deebo and Team 49ers, and Shanahan and Deebo's relationship. We're going to end up mending this fence somehow. Nope, I was wrong about that. When I'm wrong about something, I'll be the first to admit it. I handicapped this Deebo situation incorrectly. I am surprised that it is the first big news and big move of the NFL's offseason. I mean, the league year basically starts with the Deebo Samuel trade. So a 5th rounder, that's good. That's good. And look, no hard feelings, right? It just, when things come to an end, it's over. And the 49ers obviously were, emboldened to walk away. Deebo wanted out. I'm surprised it came to a head with no repairing of this broken relationship. So let's talk about winners and losers, because I think that there are clear winners and losers in this trade. And if the very best of Deebo Samuel walks into the first Commanders practice, Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury are easy winners to identify quickly. So the reigning offensive rookie of the year gets a very interesting piece to play with, as does Cliff Kingsbury as the Commanders offensive coordinator. He gets a chess piece that, again, opens up your playbook in ways other players simply do not. Now, is Deebo still that player? The fact that Kyle Shanahan is willing to give up that chess piece means maybe it isn't as valuable as Cliff Kingsbury and the Commanders hope it can be. But maybe they get the absolute best out of him. I don't think it's tracking in that direction. Now, obviously, the 49ers don't either. But, okay, Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, you got a little piece. You know who I think the real winner is in all this? Is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is a wide receiver who is either going to become more open because coverage is now interested in defending Deebo. So Terry McLaurin, his life just got easier, or his life isn't going to get harder because there's a new guy on a team taking snaps away from him. At best, Terry McLaurin has a teammate that's going to help get him open. At worst, there's a new guy in your position group who ain't going to take a snap away from you. So I think this is just all sunny side up for Terry McLaurin. It either works to his benefit. I don't think it's going to work to his detriment. So he's a winner in this. The 49ers, at this point in time, are not the winner in this. There'll be some players who get an opportunity here, but overall, I do not think you can make the argument that this is addition by subtraction. It's not that Deebo was that bad for business. He might have been bad for the overall feel of the team, the mojo in that locker room. Was he doing more damage with his complaining and his diva behavior than he was, buttressing up the team to play with violence and all that shit? So I don't know. Obviously, the thing soured in there. But I don't think that you can say that the 49ers have won here with a 5th round pick for Deebo Samuel. A real winner is Ricky Pearsall. A real winner is Jacob Cowing. A real winner is a guy like Isaac Guerrero, who could take an awful lot of those. He is a little bit of a gadget guy snaps. This is a huge opportunity for Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall. Guys who have taken a step up the depth chart without doing a thing. So more opportunities for guys who I think need more opportunities is good. Juwan Jennings, look, I think he was ahead of Deebo anyway. So I don't think he's got too much to gain other than there will be more needed out of him than ever before. And the guy who I also think is a winner in the room is going to be someone I'm calling Darius Slayton-ish. I don't even know who he is. I'm not even saying it's going to be Darius Slayton, but Darius Slayton is the type of NFL free agent who is not going to be a huge value add just based on what he's done. He is not going to be someone whose phone is ringing off the hook. He is not going to be someone who is going to fetch a huge high price, which puts him as a real target for the 49ers. The Darius Slayton-like player, the depressed asset that another team is willing to walk away from, that other teams aren't going to trip over themselves fighting their way to Darius Slayton, a guy who is a 3rd day of free agency signing. Whoever that wide receiver is, that guy is a little bit of a winner here. Because I do think that the 49ers need to add a veteran wide receiver, and the Deebo trade also brings them to the concept of looking at wide receiver with a premium pick a little higher than they might have at the back of this draft. I think that they could look at a day 2 wide receiver, especially if they're trading back and pick up another pick. And this could be an early day 3 pick now for the 49ers. So whoever that kid is, congratulations. Come on down. You could be the next receiver on the 49ers are right. So that's where we are coming out of the Deebo trade. And we'll talk about Brandon Aiyuk, who might be the next man up here in just a second. But first, it's a Monday. I've got a short show here today because I got to go read a book to my son's kindergarten class, which I'm all kinds of excited about. That's why I'm wearing a collared shirt, so I walk in there looking respectable today in front of the kids. But I got to get going here in a little bit. After, I'm going to need lunch, and I might go to Ike's and pick up an Ike sandwich because that's how much I need lunch. And my man Ike has got a delicious lunch just waiting for you. Go to Ike's, get a sandwich, get a Damon Bruce. Look at me. This is me in sandwich form. Look at how much better I look in that picture than the one that you were just looking at a minute ago. Look at that sexy guy right there. Go to Ike's. If you're ordering for your office at some point in time this week, check out Ike's Catering as well. Our friends at the Dubliner, friends for life, baby. I love the guys at the Dubliner. Thanks to Kenny. I don't know where you're going to be watching some Warriors games this week, some NCAA tournament games coming up. Maybe you're going to want to watch the combine's over, the draft at the Dubliner with some friends. My kind of bar. Dubliner West Portal. Get there and tell them that Damon sent you. Make sure you tell them that. Again, thanks to my guy, Ike, for all of his support here. And thanks to all of you at all times for the support that you give to the Plus. Like and subscribe, my good friends. That is a great way to help out just by doing that. We're now over 28,000. We got a long way to go to 29. So help me get there. Let's go. We really want to get to 30. Let's go. Like and subscribe. How much longer are the 49ers going to be subscribing to Brandon Aiyuk being on this team? Like, to me, that sounds like a hard situation to get out of because Brandon Aiyuk hits for the trifecta of NFL distressed assets, right? It's hard to trade someone who the team that just signed him is basically admitting is overpaid. So it's hard to trade an overpriced player. It's even harder to trade a player who will not be available for the majority of the upcoming season. Brandon Aiyuk tore his knee in week 7. He's not coming back till Thanksgiving, Christmas-ish in the upcoming NFL season. And then again, even when you get him back, we know for sure that dude is, damaged goods. Unavailable, overpriced, damaged goods. Good luck trading that. To the point where if the 49ers can really find a team that wants that, yes, do the trade. Do it. Do it now. Do it now. The best time to get out of a bad investment, if you see it that way, is today. It becomes more costly every single day you wait after. The best time to get out of the wrong investment is now. So if the 49ers are, in camp, this was the wrong move, get out of it, pay the dead cap space tax, and not worry about it. I think that that's what they should do. Who is this team that is going to come and take Brandon Aiyuk off the 49ers' hands? I don't know. Larry and I were talking about it on Wake Up this morning. He says Vegas. Okay, maybe. The New York Giants. Maybe. Here's the thing, though. Let's say the Giants really are interested in trading up to number 1 overall to get Cam Ward. Do you think that they're going to want to saddle Cam Ward with a guy who is not even going to be playing, can't come practice with you for months? Ideally, the team that would trade for Brandon Aiyuk is a team that is going to be tanking this upcoming year, that isn't interested in winning big in 2025, but pointing the ship in a better direction come 2026, at which point Brandon Aiyuk might be your guy if you're willing to kind of sidestep this year in the name of building towards a better, brighter future in 2026. Maybe that's the Raiders. Maybe that's the Jets. Maybe that's the Giants. I don't know. So I think it's a tough nut to crack, no matter how you're looking at it when it comes to Brandon Aiyuk. But if they can, they probably should. One of the more interesting things about the trade of Deebo is that the Commanders tried to include defensive lineman Jonathan Allen. Now, when you think of who is a player who could show up and help the 49ers instantly, Jonathan Allen's name is on that list. The 49ers avoided taking on what would have been his $15.5 million base salary with another one and a hook built into bonuses. Jonathan Allen in cold hard cash would have cost the 49ers $17 million, about half their cap space, which is why they said, no, we ain't doing it. We're also the second highest money going out team in all of football. Now, this is real Dorcas Malorcas abacus CPA shit that I'm not going to drag you through. But again, if you're about to turn around and give Brock Purdy $100 million guaranteed, that's $100 million real, have them today going into an escrow account, dollars that the 49ers are going to have to put there. There is business that is being done in the name of the business that needs to be done around the 49ers that might not make an awful lot of football sense, but they got to get it right. So I'm not going to begrudge them this. But if we're totally honest, that whole Jonathan Allen thing might have been a little interesting. It's too bad that they couldn't have added him. It really is. The combine is said and done. We'll give you a few names of guys who have officially got crushes on here in just a second. But to me, the single biggest piece of NFL news concerning the 49ers, and this is an NFL innuendo, this is an NFL rumor, this is an NFL maybe, this is NFL, that shit just did happen. That is actual 49ers news, even though it's not about the 49ers at all. And that is that Matthew Stafford isn't leaving the Los Angeles Rams. That is the biggest story in football as the Niners are going to run across outside of any story that doesn't directly relate to their own roster. I thought getting Stafford out of the NFC West was just going to make a year that's got to be a playoff year even easier to reach. Stafford's back. He's a problem. Now, he's also old enough to where he's going to get to edge of that. You know, he's not going to be a problem that much longer, cliff, and he'll fall off of it because NFL careers that hold on too long always end poorly. And I thought that Stafford was the guy who made so much money, he was going to walk away a year too early rather than a year too late in the name of, we're good over here. I got multiple mansions and multiple towns and we're good. Stafford decided to come back. And I know why the Rams would want that is because he's still got a howitzer. He can still really play. Now, Rams defense might have been the real story of their year last year, but that defense doesn't have an awful lot going for it offensively without Stafford. He was awesome. So I thought maybe he was a problem that wouldn't be a problem for the 49ers anymore. He's still going to be a problem. Let's see, though. The Niners, though, to address their upcoming season problems, did get a fifth rounder. Now for Deebo Samuel, they did not have a fifth rounder in this draft. Now they do have one. They've got 12 picks. First pick, number 11 in the first round. Second pick in the second round is number 43. Then they go 75, 99. So they got 4 of the top 100 picks right now. Another fourth rounder, 3 fourth rounders, 99, 112, and 138. No, excuse me. That's 112, 139, 139 are their fourth round picks. That number 99 is a third rounder. It's a projected compensatory pick. Number 148 is now theirs. That's what they just got for Deebo Samuel in Washington. A sixth round pick is theirs, 189. And then 3 seventh rounders, 228, 232, 255. So lots of draft positions for the 49ers. I think that they might even pick up more. I would not trade back from 11, but I would trade back from 43 or 75 or 99. If I were the 49ers to add more picks, I would. At 11, though, I got a crush. And you should have this crush as well. And I think that the 49ers should have this crush because do they need defensive line? You bet they do. But there is a deep enough defensive line draft class in front of them. I don't think that they need to go defensive line as much as they need to go offensive line, because that talent pool is going to run drier faster than the defensive lineman talent pool in a draft where I'm not shitting around. This is one of the deepest drafts you will see in your life. And if NIL hadn't really reared its head in a way where like guys who got draftability in the NFL are decided to go back to college, this might have been one of the deepest drafts in the history of the NFL. That's how deep this draft looks, even with the NIL college returnees. At number 11, out of Missouri, I'm taking offensive lineman Armand Membo. I'm running that pick to the podium. And if he is there at 11, John Lynch, I think, needs to take him. He might not even be there at 11 now, because this guy just ran the second fastest 40 of all the offensive linemen, the third fastest 10-yard split with a 9'7" broad jump at 322. He's a house. He's a road grading talent who officially has the game tape, officially has played and put his production on game tape against some of the most robust defensive line football players coming out of college because he played in the SEC. You got the marriage of the tape is great, the competition that his tape comes across is great, the workout was extraordinary, he nailed the job interview. This guy's for real, man. This guy is for real. I am drafting Armand Membo, and until you hear otherwise from me directly, that's the pick. That's the guy. That's who I want. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it should. That should happen. That's the guy I am looking at. Give me all of that athletic talent in a guy who shows up day one, ready to go and versatile, because you can play him as your starting right tackle if you want to. You can play him as Aaron Banks and not have to say, hey, Ben Barch for $1.3 million, you're a starting offensive lineman in this league now. Maybe Barch plays center, Membu plays left guard, and gets to train for his eventual slide over into the Trent Williams left tackle spot by learning directly from Trent Williams. That's the way I would play it. That's the way I would play it. There are a few other things that are really the big names and themes coming out of this combine in Indianapolis. The first is that we really, as deep as this draft is, we have no idea who the number one overall pick is going to be. Depends on who's actually making it. Tennessee is so unclear as to who the number one overall pick in the draft is that they have basically told the NFL, yeah, come get it. Give us your best offer for number one overall. If there's a definitive number one overall, that doesn't really happen. We don't know if it's going to be Sanders or Ward or Hunter or Carter. We don't know who it's going to be. And the Titans are willing to listen to offers. So that's all you need to know about how fluid number one overall really is. There are 4 Michigan Wolverines who all now are probably going in the first round. 3 of them have been related and linked to the 49ers, and Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant and Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan. Colston Loveland is a tight end who tested really well and probably played himself into the first round over the combine weekend. So keep a lookout for him as well. Oregon offensive lineman Josh Connerly had a 171 10-yard split. That could be if the Niners went with the corner out of Michigan or went with a defensive lineman, then you want to come back to an offensive lineman because you passed on Membu and Membu's going to be gone. Josh Connerly Jr. is a name that I like, probably gone by the time the second round starts because he just ran the fastest 10-yard split of any offensive lineman. But if the Niners went in another direction at 11 or traded 11, but not significantly, like you trade back from 11 to add a day 3 pick, and you're trading back from 11 to like 15 or 11, or 16, 17. You're not at the end of the first round now. You're still in the middle of it. Interior offensive lineman Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. Maybe you saw his 40. He had the beautiful, I've seen his 40 and his bouncing mullet. I've seen somebody set that to Freebird. It works. Bouncing mullets and Freebird work. Maybe that's a name you're going to look out. And as I said to Larry, and this actually pissed some people off on Friday too, what could really benefit the 49ers, this isn't me rooting against the college kid. As a matter of fact, I think if you're a college kid who ends up on the 49ers, you're in a really good situation. I like the way the team is built. I like the way the team is coached. I think they're well run. The NFL report cards say that the team culture is right. The coaching staff is well regarded. All of these things are in play. I think you want to be a 49er if you're coming out of college. More than you should want to be a higher draft pick in a worse situation. I said to Larry on Friday, maybe the 49ers benefit from a guy who's got the game film you're looking for, but then goes to Indianapolis and does not quite test well, doesn't have a great combine, but he's got good footage. Again, Tyler Booker, interior offensive lineman from Alabama, destroyed SEC players all year long, but he goes to Indianapolis and does not have a great combine. A+ game tape, C+ combine results equal late day 2, early day 3 pick for the 49ers, maybe. Keep an eye on Tyler Booker, interior offensive lineman out of Alabama. Virginia Tech's Bashal Tutin is a running back who just ran the fastest 40 time at the combine. He measured 4.32. Of all offensive players, he was the fastest. He's a day 3 guy. Maybe the 49ers take a look at him. Now, there's also direct correlation between who the team has interviewed and who they might draft. And we already know that this team has interviewed a lot of defensive linemen. Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee, who's an edge rusher, 2 defensive tackles, Shamar Turner out of Texas A&M, defensive tackle CJ West from the Indiana Hoosiers. Maybe one of those guys, not West, that would be too high for him, but Nolan or Pierce Jr., they could be the picks at 11. And if they are instead of Membu, I'm not going to complain about it, but I will say, if you're telling me that defensive line goes deeper, don't miss out on an impact offensive lineman and then take a chance. I've seen this team take way too many offensive line chances. Ben Barch, he had a really nice end to last year. That's still a chance. You know how many teams are comfortable playing a starting offensive lineman who's making $1.3 million? If you're going to agree to a $1.3 million contract, what you're telling the team that you just agreed to is, I don't think I'm a starting offensive lineman, but if you guys do, that's awesome. I went upstairs, I refreshed. That is a sip of the day, even though it's been a working coffee cup for a couple hours now. That was still really good. How's everything going on in the chat today? I see an awful lot of familiar names. Also, awful lot of Plusher Hall of Famers in here today. Love seeing it. Love seeing it. Thank you very, very much. Sugar Shane, 555. Love the show. Love you back. Hit like and subscribe, my good friend, if you have not already. Okay, a few other things, and then, like I said, I got to get going to kindergarten. This is what we're reading today to Jack's class. The Brave Coin. Why am I telling you about this? Well, an awful lot of you in the Plus chat are old 95.7 The Game fans. And, like everybody else in the Bay Area, have since stopped listening to that station because I'm not on it anymore. I get it. The Brave Coin. El Coin de Bravo. I don't know if you can read this right here. It was written by A.K. Karros. A.K. Karros is the nom de plume of Anna Kagaragis. Do you remember Anna Kagaragis from 95.7 The Game? She was a morning update anchor. Just a sweetheart, wonderful person. Anna Kagaragis left and she started writing children's books. She sent me this one. It's even autographed. Anna, of course, to Jack and Ozzy, Be Brave, Anna K. Kagaragis. And this is a wonderful little book. It's about a little boy who's afraid to go to school, so his dad gives him a coin that, there's got no magic to it, but instills the confidence that was in him all along. It's the perfect little kindergarten book, and it's really well illustrated. Anna Kagaragis, I'm selling your book today here on the Plus. That's what I'm going to go read to Jack in about a half an hour from now. And really, really looking forward to it. What else have I got to tell you? The kids aren't going to be graded too hard, I would imagine, on the reading that they do today. But what we are officially now grading hard are the Golden State Warriors, and let me give them their first big fat fucking fail since the Jimmy Butler trade. How are you going to roll into Philadelphia and Steph Curry spry enough to be throwing down a dunk, and you're going to lose that game? On a day where they're shutting down their most important player, Joel Embiid, for the remainder of the season, you're going to lose in Philadelphia? Like, come on, guys. Jimmy Butler doesn't play, and all of you forget how to play? Jimmy Butler's that important? I guess he is. Jimmy Butler didn't play with back spasms, and the Warriors lose a game that they should not have lost. You shouldn't be losing the Philadelphia 76ers. Those fucking bums have called it a year already. How you doing that? Not to mention, you got to play better in front of Kate Scott, too. You got to beat a Sixer team that just shut down their best player. So that's a shameful ass loss under those circumstances. I was hoping Trace Jackson Davis was going to get some minutes. Again, there's no Joel Embiid. Let's get Trace Jackson Davis has become a coach decision, DNP now way too often. I don't know if his back is still bothering him a little or what was wrong with him, but boy, I think he's got to get back in the mix there. Look, you got Charlotte tonight. You got the Knicks tomorrow. Then you got Brooklyn Thursday to wrap up this road trip. Jimmy Butler might not be back tonight. Don't you dare lose to the Charlotte Hornets, you fucking guy. Come on. Again, no more hoping, clapping. Isn't that nice, Warrior? No, it's results time. Go beat the Hornets and then take your shot at the Knicks, who, by the way, if you're in a tight game with the Knicks are going to win that game. They have been awesome in tight games, closing them out last 5 minutes. Look out for the Knicks. We'll get into more of that on the day that they're playing the Knicks. But beat the Hornets tonight if you're the Golden State Warriors, or shame on you if you do not. With or without Jimmy Butler. Go get that shit done. All out of mulligans. All out of mulligans. I got another basketball story here that I'm going to have to park till tomorrow because I went a little long here and I do got to get going. But we'll have what I think is the dumbest story in sports offered up on tomorrow's show, which means here at the end of today's show, we need to wrap things up with Today in History. You feeling good? You ready to go? Here we go. Today in history, March 3rd, 1901, an act of Congress created the Office of Standards, Weight, and Measures. So it was a really rough day, March 3rd, 1901, for the if it weighs more than a duck, it's a witch crowd. Once you start agreeing to your standard measurements and all that stuff, it's tough to say if it weighs more than a duck, it's a witch. So tough for them. Today in 1923, the magazine Time published its first issue. How much any magazine means these days, I do not know. I wouldn't be investing in any magazine business these days, that for sure. But there's still enough man of the year drama to it feels like of all the magazines that no longer matter, Time is at least still in the conversation of maybe it does. So congratulations. Today in 1931, the Star-Spangled Banner was officially adopted as the national anthem of the United States. And since that moment, hasn't been attached to a single moment of controversy. Again, how do you know society is collapsing? Yeah, people can't even take songs anymore. Songs drive them crazy. I would get rid of the Star Spangled Banner for Video Killed the Radio Star and just call that the national anthem going on. I don't care anymore. Let's see. Again, we've got to pick and choose the things we care about. I used to really care about the national anthem. Then the whole world just stepped all over it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Never mind. I don't fucking care. I don't care. But Damon, aren't you patriotic? Yeah, I was kind of. Now I don't give a shit. Here's what I do care about. Today in 1951, Watch Mr. Wizards debuted on NBC. Mr. Wizard. I mean, you got to be around my age or older to know who Mr. Wizard was. Mr. Wizard would then appear on Nickelodeon at the end, and he was one of the very first, hey, kids, get interested in science guys that ever joined, the entertainment industry, television. You don't get to Bill Nye the Science Guy. You don't get to Neil deGrasse Tyson without going through Mr. Wizard first. So cheers to Mr. Wizard. By the way, I know that appeals to everyone in here. Zophmus, I know exactly who you are, right? Yeah. I love Mr. Wizard. See, there we go. Red Jet, like, come on, man. You're revealing all kinds of my age today. See? Bill Nye before Bill Nye. Absolutely. Michelle Haberman in my demographic. Mr. Wizard, love that show. Red Jet. Damon Bruce for president. Fuck it. We got time. That'll officially be my campaign slogan. Yeah. Let's put some common sense back into the equation. Anyway, Mr. Wizard today in 1951. Mazel tov. Even more important, if you're around my age, today in 1985, forgive me early, but I'm going to hit you with the theme song. I'm going to try to do it in his voice. Some walk by night, some fly by day. Moonlighting premiered today in 1985, reviving the career of Sybil Shepherd and turning Bruce Willis into a household name, one of the coolest dudes coming out of the 80s, and eventually becoming one of the biggest movie stars ever. I loved Moonlighting, which of course also featured Curtis Armstrong. Booger from Revenge of the Nerds revived Curtis Armstrong's career as well. I loved Moonlighting. It's been a while since I've seen Moonlighting. I wonder how it does in terms of holding up. But I loved Moonlighting. I did. I had a crush on Sybil Shepherd, who was like one of the original MILFs. She really was. Today in 1991, police officers beat the ever-living shit out of Rodney King. That act on its own wasn't something that was different, sadly. What made that different is somebody videotaped it. And you want to talk about days that changed America, days that changed the way people talk and act and relate to each other. Today in 1991, we got the grainy VHS tape footage 34 years ago. Those police officers were found innocent. And again, we watched the tape. There was nothing innocent about any of that. Holy shit. It's still one of the bigger holy shit moments of my life of following popular jurisprudence. Like, of course, these guys are all guilty. Not guilty. All right, well, burn half the fucking town down. Like, I kind of get it. I really do. Today in 2012, an American conceptual artist named Ralph McQuarrie died in Berkeley, California. You don't know who Ralph McQuarrie is? I'll tell you who he is. And you're going to understand why, pop culture means a lot. Who in pop culture villainy, which pop culture villain is more etched in society than Darth Vader? This is the guy who designed Darth Vader. Makes sense that he died in Berkeley. They were all up working at LucasArts over Lucas Valley Road up in Marin. There you go. The guy who designed Darth Vader died today. Thank you for your contribution. Today in 2024, Caitlin Clark passed Pete Maravich for the all-time men or women college basketball leading scorer crown. Goes to Caitlin Clark. Haven't heard from her since. No, just kidding. Caitlin Clark, big deal. Today she passed Pete Maravich. And as I always let you know, there are weird, like it's National Cheeseburger Day, it's National Bubblegum Day, or whatever it is. I don't know how these things are picked or chosen. I don't care. But when I see two of them that matter to me, I'll tell you about them. Number one, today is National Irish Whiskey Day. Now, under any other circumstances, not that this is Irish whiskey, but there would be a bottle pull to celebrate National Irish Whiskey Day. For a guy who's about to go read The Brave Coin to a class full of kindergartners, no bottle pull today. Damon, you're such a great parent. Thank you. But it is Irish Whiskey Day, which was described as an opportunity for people worldwide to celebrate and enjoy Irish whiskey and learn more about its history and cultural significance. Like, what distiller came up with that bullshit? Let me tell you, nobody in the history of Irish whiskey pondered cultural significance for a millisecond. Give me the whiskey. I'm trying to get drunk. Irish whiskey is just get me drunk whiskey, is just here we go whiskey, is it's Saturday night. I'm trying to catch up to everyone who got to the bar 20 minutes before I did. Whiskey. There are a lot of whiskeys to get all romantic and special about. Is Irish whiskey part of that? I don't think so. It's drink the fucking shot whiskey. And I'm all about it. I'm not anti-Irish whiskey in any way, shape, or form. Big fan. But let's not pretend we're considering or pondering its cultural significance. When someone orders a Jameson, it's because that's what's behind the bar. Priced to move. And as you can clearly see by the physical statue that sits in front of you today, I like a good sandwich, which always brings us back to Ike's. Here he is. Look at this guy. Look at this handsome little bastard right here. Love you, Ike. It's National Cold Cuts Day. We don't get to Ike without it being National Cold Cuts Day. If you are pro sandwich, if you go to work to just have the money that allows you to have the good cold cuts in your house that allow you to make a good sandwich, which really is the peak of living. I don't know if life gets better than, this sandwich is fucking great. We don't get there without it being National Cold Cuts Day. So when you see your cold cuts today, whether they be, ham, bologna, roast beef, something a lot more exotic than that, something less exotic than all of that, look at your cold cuts and say, thank you. Thank you, turkey. Thank you. Because without you, we would not have great sandwiches. And we need great sandwiches as much as we need great whiskey, as much as we need great football, as much as the Niners need to make great draft picks. We need great sandwiches in our lives. And go to Ike's to get one. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to go try to be a great dad. And I tell you, I've already told the school, the elementary school, that I would be volunteering more. I think a couple Fridays from now, I'm going to be chaperoning a class trip. I want to be as involved in my kids' kindergarten as I can be. Not to mention, how lucky for this group of snot-nosed little kids. They get a professional broadcaster with the broadcaster voice reading them today. I wouldn't want to be the dad or mom that follows me. Holy shit. How do you live up to that guy? Did you hear this motherfucker enunciate? He was incredible. Can you imagine a little kid leaning up? Can you listen to this motherfucker enunciate? He is crushing this book today. Like, I've read The Brave Coin before, but it's never sounded better than this. You're welcome, America. This is ridiculous. Thank you so much for watching today. Like, subscribe, support Ike's, get to the Dubliner and West portal. If you're looking for a great book, Brave Coin, Anna Kagaragi's, but her nom de plume is A.K. Karos. Order one online on Amazon, and it even comes with a cute little gold coin, too, that Jack, to this day, keeps with him in his backpack, so he remains brave at school. Have a great sandwich. And Chef A, yeah, mortadella. It's incredible. Absolutely, it is. Thank you very much for watching, and please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he is gone.